let me introduce myself. As Pup Atlas loves to call me, I'm Sir Roger Barker. I prefer normally to go by Daddy. I identify more as Daddy than I do as Sir. And if you want to talk about the politics of why that is, I will be happy to talk to you after class. Okay? And then we have Pup Mufasa. I am his handler. He's from Dallas, if those of you that do not know him. And then we have Puppy Apollo. He's my puppy. And then hiding around here somewhere is my brother Hamish, who is getting an introduction into puppy play. So he's just starting out. So I'm really excited that he was able to come here. And I'm really glad to see the turnout that we got. So let's see if my transitions work. Yay! All right, outline. We're going to talk a little bit about puppy history. That's really important for handlers to know, is puppy history. Because as you know, the LGBTQ plus community is always under attack. And puppy play is very misunderstood. So we need to understand puppy history. We need to understand what is a handler, right? That's why we're here today. We're talking about what is a handler. Handler ethics, that's kind of a big deal right here. Handler headspace. A lot of handlers don't think that they have their own headspace. That's incorrect. Handlers have a headspace. Handler gear. I'm going to give you some examples of handler gear. And these are just examples, because remember, based on your puppy, based on the circumstances, this gear changes.
There's a whole store full.
Right? The handler-puppy relationship, what is it? And then faux pas. I knew the puppies would like that. Things that are done that just shouldn't be done in the book. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Puppy history. Highly debated. When did it start? Did it come from the leather community? Did it come from the BDSM community outside of the leather community? Did it come from, good Lord, people have equated it back to the Nazi era.
There's a lot further back.
Okay. Puppy play is literally tens of thousands of years old. This is not new. It has transformed. It has grown into something that is beautiful. What it has done, it has grown into something that allows people to grasp their sexuality and release it, which is something that is very repressed in America. And anytime you repress a piece of your personality, you tend to repress other pieces of your personality. This guy right here, he will walk down the street like this. Or less.
House. Interesting.
Yes. He is 100% embraced his sexuality. I'm not talking about whether you're gay, bi, whatever. Not that. I'm talking about your sexuality. I'm talking about that sexual energy inside of you. Okay? Three sort of words. Zoophilia. A lot of you may not have heard that word. Animal roleplay and bestiality. Why are these three words so important? Because they're used to attack us. They're used to attack the pup community. The pup community of today came from animal role play. This is documented. You can do the research. Before written history, there are cave drawings of people dressing up as their spiritual animal and another person that takes care of them. That's a puppy and a handler, right? Unfortunately, these three terms, especially the animal role play, tends to get morphed into bestiality. And that's not what puppy is. It's important to know that. Zoophilia is also based on animal role play and then it took a more sexual role, and it kind of morphs itself into bestiality as well, right? So these are some important principles, and if you want, there have been multiple books written about this. Some of them I would just read and laugh at because they're just so wrong, but there are some of them that have some very good materials in them, and they're worth reading. Okay? The leather community. The leather community, which, yes, I am part of, right? I'm a big part of the leather community. I have been for 15 years plus. The leather community loves to enfold kinky things that men do, right? Now, certainly puppy play is not just about men. It's about everybody. We'll get into that. Certainly the leather community had some play with puppy. Primarily because of all of the artists and creators and art crafters that make leathers. They were the first ones to make hoods. Where do you normally go, until recently, to get pup hoods from? It's normally a leather store or some kind of a leather manufacturer. But now, other non-leather centric people are making pup hoods, and it's a beautiful thing to see, because the pup hoods of today, from where they came out when I started in puppy play and he started in puppy play, like 1984, have vastly changed.
That's the first puppy hood. Okay? That's what we started with.
Or
worse.
Or worse.
Mine was leather. It was horrible.
And leather, if you've never worn leather over your head, if you've never been into like hood play or anything like that, damn, you think those hoods that you're wearing right now get hot?
The leather ones are worse.
Try it in completely unbreathable leather. So that's a little bit about puppy history.
And I have been a puppy since 1984. And to give you an idea how that started, I was with my first lover, and he put me in the cage with my husky. And it felt right. And my husky and I had a close relationship. So the next morning when he came to get me out, my husky looked at him and said, "No, we're asleep here."
And he is a husky.
I'm a
And
husky.
I don't know why I tend to attract huskies as pups,
You're a husky.
because he's a husky too.
I'm a whisper.
That's true.
It's actually, there's a term called wusky, and it's wolf husky mix, and I am, so my husky was a wusky, and I love you.
Yes. So what is a handler?
All right.
He's the protector of the puppy, right? Or I should say, they are the protector of the puppy. I apologize that I used he. That was very wrong of me, and I apologize for that. I'm trying to be more inclusive, and I apologize. So,
I'm sir.
nice to meet you. Would love to talk with you after the class. They're the protector of the puppy. They need to make sure that the puppy is taken care of. They're the confidant of the puppy. The puppy will come to them and tell them things that they won't tell other people, because there's that trust that's built. There's that respect that's built. They're responsible. Honorable. You gotta have honor. Honor, integrity, respect. Yes, I know it comes from the leather community, but my God, it is what I live by. I would be nothing without my honor. Absolutely nothing. I would be nobody. To myself, I would be nobody. Mentor. A lot of puppies are younger, right? So, as a gay person or an LGBT person growing up, most people did not have parent figures that they could go to ask, I really like this person that is the same sex that I am. and I want to ask them out on a date, Dad, how do I do that?
If you do this workout, guys, leave the fitting room. I'll take care of it for you. We can get back in.
So the handler becomes a little bit of a dad figure too, right? That mentor. If you look at all of these things right here, that's dad, or that's mom, or that's parent. However you want to describe it, that is that central figure in that person's life that helps them grow to be more than they are today. And pups want to grow. This one, I don't know if he'll ever grow up, but that's another story.
Growing old is required, growing up is optional.
And then we already talked about integrity. And for those of you that think this might be a misspelling, integris, it's not. Puppy and I had a fight about that word, and he looked it up and said, "Oh, no, you're right." He hates to admit it when I'm right and he's wrong.
You play Scrabble, don't you?
No, we have not gotten into Scrabble or Monopoly. I'm not sure that I want to go there with that one, to be honest with you. Especially with my brother. I'm not sure that I want to go in because those two get together and gang up on me, and I am in trouble every single time. I don't care.
Wait till the three of us get together.
Also like it.
I do. So if I had a puppy or a sub, because I have a boy that's in Dallas, 6'8", 400 pounds.
His name is Giant.
Yeah, his name is Giant. That's what we call him, Giant.
And puppy feels
And
small.
I will tell you, do not let him get hungry on you.
No.
You have not seen hangry until you've seen Giant hangry. Okay? But integrity. And that comes from within, right? That comes from that heart.
And the thing about integrity as a puppy, the problem we have is when we find a handler without integrity, they can hurt us.
Badly. I have a puppy in Dallas that I have been working now for 6 years, and we're still trying to piece him back together.
Well, first we had to
Even
peel
with his
apart the
therapist
onion.
and everything else, we're still piecing him back together just so that he can go and have
A moment.
sex and not freak out about it. So the handler is a very important, critical piece of the puppy community. Handlers don't ever think otherwise. I know the puppies, the cute, adorable, gorgeous, bratty, fun puppies get all of the attention the majority of the time, right? But it's that handler that's standing behind them that lets that puppy be a puppy.
I wouldn't feel safe without my
No. There are things that he will absolutely not do. There are things that he will absolutely not do unless I am there. Period. Handler ethics. Oh, wow. I expect pitchforks. Okay? If anybody can tell me where this line is from, I'll buy you a beer. Never cruel nor cowardly. Never give up, never get in, but be fair. 10 seconds.
Never cool nor cowardly sounds like a Dr. Who quote.
That is
Peter Capaldi,
the
right?
oath that Dr. Who took when he became doctor. Those words right there have never resonated with me more than anything. So I owe you a beer.
We just wanted Dr. Who, and you think I would know this?
Respect not only your puppy, but other puppies.
handler.
Show respect to other handlers. Listen and learn. You do not know everything. I do not know everything. I learn every single day something new.
I've been a puppy since 1984, and I learn something every day.
He does, especially patience.
No kidding. I don't have
That's a lesson, by the way, that never ends. Okay, just letting you know, that's a lesson that never ends.
For handlers, they have to have all the patience for the puppies because the puppies.
That's why I go to a therapist every Friday. Promote a safe and non-toxic community.
Oh, ruff.
Handlers, you have the power to make the puppy community non-toxic. You have the power to make the community safe for everybody. This is the basic code of ethics.
We'll get you.
Could we sit here and talk for hours and hours about ethics? Absolutely. But these basic points right here will get you through life. Not just as a handler, but as a person in general. Handler headspace. Handler headspace isn't talked about much. Most people don't believe that handlers have a headspace. That is incredibly wrong. Handlers have a headspace. When they are in their handler headspace, they are protective. You want to see you want to see the shit come out of somebody and smack you down? Let a handler become protective. Nurturing. Making sure they've got that bottle of water. Making sure they've got those treats. Making sure they've got their knee pads. He came in and he took off his Crocs. Yes, he was wearing Crocs. No, don't judge him, please.
They were rainbow.
And he took it off and he was barefooted. And I asked him, "Where are your toe shoes?" And so we had to go out to his truck and get them, because this floor isn't exactly conducive to walking around barefoot. Right? Playful. You gotta play with your puppy. I mean, you've seen I've already been doing it, right? Don't be embarrassed about playing with your puppy. Don't be embarrassed about having your puppy beat you in an argument.
Happens all the time.
You know how much I love it when my puppy beats me in an argument?
It's a husky.
If they won every argument, you know how boring that would be? Oh my God, that would be so incredibly boring if I didn't have somebody to challenge me to grow.
Or her.
And I've had to grow a lot.
So is the puppy.
I've made mistakes. And I've had to own those mistakes and apologize for those mistakes. Adventurous. Going to an event, taking your puppy into the bar, and just fucking the shit out of them right in the bar. How can that not be fun?
What are we doing?
Adventurous. Go to a park with your puppy in full gear
Ruff.
and play with them.
Ruff.
Adventurous means anything that's outside of your normal wheelhouse.
He took me to the
Get
7th
out of your
Street
safe zone.
parade.
Hmm?
He took me to the 7th Street parade.
We had fun.
Puppy walked down 7th Street in less than this.
And one particular boy as well. I have pictures of that I'm not allowed to show. Observant. He wasn't wearing shoes. He was getting hot under his mask. Somebody is touching them inappropriately.
Treats other handlers have.
How many times have you seen a handler go up to a puppy that did not belong to them and start to touch them inappropriately? You do that in front of me, I will break your arm. And that's not an idle threat. I do not take well to that. Daddy does not take well to that. Any sub.
Yeah.
It's not, okay, one thing that's important though to bring up, the headspace is not 100% daddy. Handler's different. And the thing about handler is, he's not your daddy, he's your protector. Just like you protect your live dog, your bio dog. When I had my huskies, God help anybody got anywhere near one of them.
Right.
And this handler is the only one I trust.
That coming from this particular guy and that particular guy, knowing their background, knowing the trauma they've been through as children, that actually makes me want to cry right now. Because that's beautiful. Handler gear. I'm wearing handler gear right now.
He's wearing too much.
I would agree, except I have to give examples in this particular case. Okay. Yes, he likes it when I wear my cover. So, guess I'm wearing my cover now. Handler gear. Leash. Puppies tend to run away. Puppies tend to, you know, want to go be adventurous. And yes, I'm getting my workout in for today. A leash, it's a pretty good idea to have a leash with you, right? Because of a couple of different reasons. One, not only does it help prevent your puppy from straying and wandering around and everything, right? One, it very clearly indicates to other people, mine, back off. It is a symbol of protectorship.
It's a symbol of love.
Yeah, symbol of love. Bottled water. I know a lot of people like to buy like Yeti, you know, that like $90, $100, all that kind of stuff. I found these on Amazon for $29. It keeps the water cold without ice for up to 48 hours. So I try to keep these around. There are all sorts of ways that you can do that. Make sure, and if you have bottled water and it's flavored water, that your puppy doesn't have an allergy to it, or some medical condition where they can't have some of those artificial ingredients that are in water. But you should always have extra water with you. Because, I mean, this is a half hood, and look at that, he's sweating, right? A hand towel. Oh, well, that kind of gets into a whole lot of different reasons why I have a hand towel, right? Not just for sweat, but for general cleanup of other sort of body fluids that could potentially erupt at any given moment.
That's why it's in the Hitchhiker's Guide.
I'm sorry?
That's why it's in the Hitchhiker's Guide. Don't forget your towel.
Exactly. Good. I love this guy. Raging nerd. And I love that because so am I. I was wondering if anybody was going to get that line that I had, the doctor's oath. So that was, man. Okay. A small first aid kit.
Or puppy gets always.
Something with like Bactine in it, or you know, something to help a coagulant to help stop small cuts or whatever from bleeding, things of that nature, Band-Aids. Just a small little kit, doesn't, you know, maybe that big.
Believe it or
You can
not,
get them at CVS.
believe it or not, they're real important, especially on some of these mats. If a puppy's going without knee pads, you can get a real bad leg rash,
Yeah.
and you'll bleed quick.
Aloe vera, if they're not allergic to aloe vera, is great. Especially in Texas during the summertime for those little burns that happen out in the sun.
Rawr, rawr, rawr.
A whistle.
Rawr.
Or some kind of other signaling device. I don't need a whistle. I got a big ass mouth.
I ain't arguing.
I don't care how noisy the bar is. You can hear me at the other end of the bar when I say puppy. Okay? I'm not gonna yell. You want me to yell? Okay.
I don't think you can yell out loud.
Footwear and clothing.
It's okay.
I'm wearing handler gear. These shorts,
This.
Right.
This, right here.
yep, hang on, I'll get to those. See, patience, I'm telling you. Patience is a never-ending lesson for puppies. They always want to jump ahead to the end, right? These shorts I found, and I love them. They've got 2 pockets here that go all the way down. They got side pockets. They got another pocket here. Right now I have his glasses and his iPhone. I've got my asthma inhaler and my car keys and all sorts of other stuff. My wallet. My wallet. It's like a damn black hole. You know, never. What was it? A bag of holding. For those of you that play D&D, right? Yeah. Shoes. Shoes that are appropriate to the event that you're going to. But make sure that they are comfortable and something that you can wear for hours at a time, potentially standing for hours at a time. These particular shoes ran about $100. Memory foam, steel toes. Cannot tell you how many times these two
Bark.
have stepped on my toes.
It's not steps.
I know that you love it, but still, it hurts. Steel toes. They're also great for kicking somebody in like the groin with, right? Shouldn't be touching your puppy. So high energy, bite-sized snacks. This is a controversial area. High energy, bite-sized snack for your puppy. A lot of puppies have food allergies. Don't go and give snacks to another puppy unless you ask them if they have any food allergies and you check with their handler. Period. Don't do it. My puppy right there, he is allergic to melons. He can't eat pineapple. Do you know how pissed off he gets when I order a Hawaiian pizza? I do not hear the end of it for 2 weeks now. From the last time, I'm still hearing about it. He ordered pineapple, my favorite pizza, and I couldn't eat any. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but, you know, I love Hawaiian pizza. I gotta have it sometimes. Toy bag. This puppy's one of his favorite toys. Puppies get bored. Have a little toy bag of some of their favorite toys when you go somewhere. It also makes a great call, right? He can hear this from a long distance.
Anyone has a Ford F-150?
I don't want to have to tell you.
Anyone has a Ford F-150?
I have a Ford F-250
250, yes.
250.
Can we get your key?
for,
We can move it so we can access to our building.
sure.
I definitely will not let you move it like that, so don't worry.
Where's,
Either back here.
It's hanging on my backpack.
I was about to say, I thought it was hanging on his backpack
I
back
would
there.
totally be down for that.
The black one?
Yes.
Knowing where your puppy's stuff is. That actually is the next point. Everything that your pup forgot back at the house but once at the event.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Do that last minute check. Because puppy gets excited.
I just want to make sure it was somebody.
They get excited, they start running around and they're ready to go and they're pushing you out the door. They want to get to the event, they want to see their friends and they're forgetting stuff.
Oh, make sure
And once they
it
get to
was
the event, you know they're not that.
Yeah, watch out.
So those are some basic things about that. The handler-puppy relationship, what is it? I'm about to make a very controversial statement. Some of you may not like this statement I'm going to make, but I'm going to explain it. Like most other kink and fetish relationships, the handler-puppy relationship is a basic dom-sub power exchange. Not a dom-sub relationship, but it is a power exchange. It is a basic dom-sub power exchange. Okay, that's very critical to understand. Because if you understand the dom-sub basics of a power exchange, your relationship with your puppy is going to be stronger, happier, more conducive, right? But it doesn't mean that the puppy is a sub. It doesn't mean that the handler is necessarily a dom. But the dynamics are the same.
The dynamics are the same.
He has been just driving me insane because he wants me to put these on him.
Oh, so I can get down with him.
I don't know. Do you think he's been a good boy? Should I put them on?
No, don't do it.
Well, why did you throw your... There you go. At this point, he's helpless. He can't use his hands anymore, right? So you have to be there for that. But it's part of a power exchange. He is giving up some of his independence to you. And you, as the handler, have to accept that submissiveness and treat it respectfully and not abuse it. That's what I mean by a dom-sub power exchange.
Not to mention, he made me wait for my cars for over an hour.
Like any other relationship, it is what you make of it. If you want it to be a relationship where you are partners and all of that, that's great. If you want it to be where just you're a handler and you have a couple of pups that you take to mosh pits every now and then or kind of play with or whatever, but there's not a romantic relationship, that's great. Whatever you want to make of the relationship, as long as all parties are in agreement. So discussion, openness, communication. You have to have the communication so that you can make the most of your relationship. And puppy-handler relationships are great. I lost him due to, do you mind if I? His parents were forcing him through gay conversion therapy, and there were just all sorts of other things that were going on, and he left me. I cried for a week. It broke my heart. But I knew I had to let him go. I couldn't help him. And now he's back. Fully back. And I'm actually friends with his parents. Because they realized that their religion was bullshit. And now they are very anti-religious. And we actually have a good time. We go do wine tastings and all sorts of shit. It's fun. Right? Just because something happens at the beginning of a relationship doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen throughout the whole relationship. This guy, I had to let go of for a while.